Hello everybody and welcome back. It is TBR time for the month of August. And I am pretty worried about this month, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. If you remember the month of July, then you remember that board was looking mighty full when we finished up the month of July. And so I am a little bit concerned as to what the TBR board is going to look like once we even get our first prompt for August, much less what it's gonna look like when we're done. So hopefully here's the month that we clear the board. I mean, with it being as full as it is, theoretically we should easily be able to clear the board, but nothing is guaranteed and I'm not sure that I'm not gonna have to add rolls. So just in case this is your first time watching TBR Bluff, the rule is that I can only clear the board once I have 5 squares covered up in a row. If I am unable to fit a prompt, then I have to use the Wheel of Doom, where there are 5 books that I want to read on there and 5 books that I don't, and it's just a random wheel that decides what I'm going to be reading, and then I have to add a roll onto that prompt. I can roll from 1 time, I can roll up to 3 times, but at the end of the 3rd time, that is what I got. Like, I'm not able to redo it, that is what it is. So this could be a very, very interesting month. I'm a little bit worried, but we're gonna see what we get. I don't have a lot of mandatory reads for this month. I have the Backlist Book Club pick, which is Grey Sister, and mine and Cassidy's Patrons are going to be rereading Marked by PC Cast, which is an oldie YA vampire romance, but PC Cast is going to be at a Polycon. So we just wanted to reread it and live in the nostalgia just for the heck of it. So those are the only 2 things that I really need to read in the month of August that I am aware of. If anything else gets added, I will let you guys know, but I do have a lot of vlog plans coming up. I've got to read SPFBO books, like this is the month that those have to get done. So I will definitely be adding some of those to the TBR as well. Have like another publisher battle coming up for you guys. So there are a lot of different fun video plans that I need to get done, and I will try to get some of those books on this TBR as well. But really quickly, before we jump into the first roll, I did want to tell you guys that I am going to be very loosely participating in 2 different readathons this month. The first is going to be a Magical Readathon hosted by G from Book Roast. I will be bringing you guys a separate TBR for that because there's a lot of books, and so it's hard for me to get it all in this video, so be on the lookout for a separate TBR for that. And then I'm also going to be loosely participating in the Amazing Readathon, which is hosted by Bree from 4 Paws and a Book. I'm going to be on Team Blue, and unfortunately there are not going to be enough blue books, I don't think, on this TBR based off of what I need to read for like vlogs and stuff, but that doesn't mean that I won't be fitting in blue books wherever I can. This is not just a color-based readathon, there are a lot of other fun things going on. There will be prompts throughout the month as we travel to different cities, and you can get extra points for translated books and I think books with queer rep as well. I will link her announcement video and G's announcement video down in the description box for you guys in case you want to check it out. Oh, I was going to tell you guys how I did last month. I will be honest, I am getting a little bit burnt out as far as just reading in general. I have got a lot on my plate content-wise, and I'm finding that the TBR game is putting a lot of stress on me sometimes to get some stuff read. So I'm not going to take a punishment for the month of July, even though I did not quite finish my TBR. I think the only one that I did not read was Parasite by Darcy Coates. I got most of the other ones read, but I just don't really want that added stress in the month of August, and there's going to be a very exciting announcement, I think, coming up the video after this, and so there's going to be a lot of work leading up to that and that month. So I'm just going to de-stress a little bit and for the next couple of months not take a punishment. Hopefully you guys are okay with that, but that means we will only be doing 5 rolls or 5 prompts for this game. So I think that that's all the housekeeping stuff. Let's just jump into the first roll. All right, TBR Bluff, roll number 1. 2 6s, a 5, a 4, and a 3. So we have 2 6s and 2 5s still on the board, and 2 6s and 2 2s. Let's do the 2 6s and the 5 and then re-roll this. That did not help me any. Let's try one more time. Hey! 2 6s and 2 5s, so we got color generator. Okay, so we got lucky, and on the first roll, I got 2 6s and 2 5s. So we need to do a random color generator and see what color I'm going to be getting so that I can find our first book. So the first color that pops up is just the whatever I opened the page to. So let's hit generate random color and see what we get. Silver gray. Okay, I need a gray book. I could probably find a gray book, right? Give me a minute. Let me go find a gray book. Okay, so I did have a little bit of a hard time figuring out what I was going to do for silver gray, but I think I'm going to do combat codes because even though this is not a fully gray cover, like there is definitely silver gray. Like that is the definition of silver gray, is that very badass looking dragon thing. I think this is a martial arts based sci-fi, if I'm not mistaken. And I love the tagline of this. It just says, "They were born to fight. Now it's time to win or to die." I do know that Rachel liked this one quite a lot. It was an indie fantasy or an indie science fiction that was picked up by Orbit, yes. That was picked up by Orbit not too long ago and just recently republished. I am very excited to give this one a try because it seems like it's unlike anything that I've ever read before, and so I'm hopeful that it'll be something new and different that I really, really enjoy. All right, TBR Bluff, roll number 2. Two sixes and 2 1s. That is still on the board. We're going to take it because this is going to be a wild game if I don't. So the next prompt is dual timeline. Okay, so for our next prompt, we got 2 6s and 2 1s. Once again, it got really lucky and we were able to find a prompt pretty easily. And for this one, I'm not really going to be able to show you guys the cover because I have the slipcover edition, but this is the Final Strife by Sarah El Rafi. I'm sorry, it's very, very shiny, so I'm gonna actually taking the slipcover off does not help. Anyway, what if we do this? Yeah, that's better. I'm gonna be reading The Final Strife. This is a epic fantasy book that Becca from Becca in the Books was recently talking about. She read the sequel not too long ago and said that she enjoyed the sequel even more than the first book in the series. I want to say Erin from Booked and Busy also was reading it with her and quite liked it. And so I'm excited to give this one a try. Do I really know a lot about what this is about? No. I think I remember it being about different colored bloods and different colored bloods leaving you in different classes. And there was like blue bloods and red bloods and maybe silver bloods. I'm not really sure, but that was kind of the magic system for this. And I think there may have been like a conversation around slavery, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure this is also an author of color. And so I am so very excited to get to this book. It's going to be for a video project and I'm super excited to read this one. All right, TBR Bluff, roll number 3. A 5, a 6, a 5, a 3, and a 4. So we still have 2 5s on the board. I am gonna re-roll these 3 just to see what we get, and that way if I need the 2 5s later, I'll have it, but that didn't help, so let's try one more time. 2 5s and 2 4s. That is still on the board, and that is fantasy, you guys. How? Wait, I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to jinx it. 2 5s and 2 4s, fantasy. Coming in by the skin of our teeth again. Next up, we got 2 5s and 2 4s, which is going to be a fantasy. And I'm just going to squeeze in the Grey Sister by Mark Lawrence for this one. This is the Backlist Book Club hosted by Cassidy from Covers with Cassidy. We are on book 2 of the Book of the Ancestor. And I gave book 1 4 stars when I originally read it, and then went back and reread it and it gave it 5 stars. I love this series, and this one was my favorite of the 2 when I read it previously. This will be a reread for me, but I am so excited to jump back into this world. It's following Nona, who is a young woman who is accused of killing a very powerful man, and she is rescued from the gallows by Abbess Glass, who is the Abbess of Covenant Sweet Mercy, which is a nunnery for assassins. And I just love the magic system in here. I love the world that Mark Lawrence has created. I'm very excited to continue on the series in Grey Sister and then finally finish it off with Holy Sister. TBR Bluff, roll number 4. 2 2s, a 5, a 3, and a 1. So we're definitely going to keep those 2 2s. So I'm trying to decide if I want to keep this 3 out because that could be a friend fave if we get another 3. But if I don't, then I run the risk of not getting anything. So I think I'm going to re-roll these. Two sixes. Don't think two sixes and two twos is on the board anymore. Oh, it is. Spooky. You guys. How? Okay. Two sixes, two twos, spooky. I cannot believe how nice the board has been to me so far. Like, I literally cannot believe we've been able to find a prompt for all of these. And I'm probably going to jinx myself having said that, but anyway, for the next prompt, we got two sixes and two twos, which ended up being a spooky book. Normally, I wouldn't want spooky because I do have a lot of fantasy that I need to read this month. However, again, for one of the video projects, I am going to be reading Silver Nitrate by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. This is a book about a curse that is haunting a legendary lost film and the one woman who awakens its hidden powers. Sounds really good. I'm very excited to get to that one. Okay, and for our last and final roll, I really don't want to say it, but can we get away? Like, can we do it? I don't know. All right, let's do our last and final roll and see what we get. Although we don't actually have any fives in a row yet, so we really need either chunky book, pet pick, or short book, because otherwise this board is not going to clear. Wait, we could also get reverse page count because I forget I can go this way. Isolated setting or sci-fi. So we've got a couple of different options. Two threes, a 5, a 6, and a 4. So we're definitely going to keep those two threes. We've got a couple of things we could do with threes, including reverse page count. So 3 threes. Do we roll one more time or do we just stick with the sci-fi? You know what, I'm going to choose Chaos, and I'm actually going to re-roll all 3 of these and keep those 2, because we'll still have reverse page count no matter what, but I don't really want to read a sci-fi this. Okay, looks like we did not get anything. We got a 5, a 4, and a 1 out of that, so we can't really make anything else out of that, so we're definitely going to have to go with reverse page count. But that means that we are going to finally get to clear this board after the complete chaos that was nearly not clearing this. Like, that's insane. But we did it. For September, we will be cleared. Whew, guys, coming in by the skin of our teeth, we have got our final prompt without having to add a roll or use the spinner wheel of doom. I know that's probably a little bit anticlimactic, not gonna lie, but I'm really excited because I was very concerned that we were gonna have like 15 prompts for this month, and I don't know how the board was so nice to me. Like, I'm gonna take it, but next month's probably gonna be miserable because of that. But we got 2 threes, and that ended up being reverse page count. And reverse page count is the reverse of the page count from the book from the prompt prior. So for Silver Nitrate, I looked on Goodreads, and it has 323 pages. And then the reverse of that is also 323 pages. So I went and scoured my bookshelves, and I thought the closest I was going to be able to find was 350 something pages, but then I went and looked, and I don't actually own Marked anymore, but the reprint edition of Marked is 320 pages. So that's what I'm going to be going with, is this reprint edition of Marked. I do need to go pick that up from the bookstore. This is following vampires. It is a young adult story set in a school setting, and I don't really remember a whole lot about it other than I was addicted to it as a teenager. Will I like it now? Probably not. Will I still like it because I liked it as a teenager and it's like crack candy? Possibly. But I'm very excited to read that one as well. Okay, so I found a couple of blue books that are on my radar of things that I do want to pick up very soon. So if I have any extra time throughout the month, I will definitely be picking up these. And again, remember, you're getting bonus points, I think, for queer and for translated books. I don't know if any of these are queer. I think one of them is for sure. And the others, obviously, I will find out as I read them. The first is going to be The Witcher, The Sword of Destiny. This is definitely blue and it is translated. This is a Polish author. The Witcher's gotten really popular because of the TV show, and I'm not going to talk about that drama, but it is just kind of an epic fantasy following a witcher who is basically a monster slayer and a young girl that he is destined to be a part of her life, and she is very, very important to this world overall. I feel like that's a bad description, but unfortunately, because of the nature of what The Witcher is, I don't think that I can give a better description than that, but I am excited to continue on in this series. I have been needing to get to this book for a while, so hopefully I'll be able to prioritize this. Then we have No Heart for a Thief by James Lloyd Doolin. I don't know for 100% sure if this counts, but she said we could include the back cover as well. And I feel like if you take into account the back cover, it is mostly blue. This is an epic indie fantasy that I have been very excited to get to. It says, "We are the stories we tell ourselves, even the lies." Been on my radar, desperately wanting to read. It is part of SPF BO9, and so I really want to get to this. I just hope that I'm able to do it soon. Next up, we have another indie fantasy that was sent to me by the author, so thank you so much for that. And that is The Hunter's Lament by Steve Panet. This one is definitely showing up more blue than it is in person, but it is a navy blue cover. Very, very pretty. It's about an infamous bounty hunter that is trying to get out of the business, but it's the only business that he knows, and he's wanting to tie up some loose ends and goes against his better instincts to accept a contract and set out on the search of a fugitive crown prince. It sounds good. It is quite short, and I appreciate the author sending me a copy of this, so I do want to get to it soon as well. Then I really need to get to the sequel to Feed, which is Deadline by Mira Grant. This one is a very light blue, and it is about the zombie apocalypse and some journalists that are going to be covering the presidential election within the zombie apocalypse. And last up is Kagan of the Damned by Jonathan Mayberry. This one I think is a grimdark that I've really been wanting to get to. I want to say Claire recently read it and really enjoyed it, and so I am hopeful that I can soon get to this as well. I believe this is a revenge plot, if I'm not mistaken, and Jonathan Mayberry typically writes horror, and so I'm very excited to see what he can do from a fantasy, epic fantasy scope. Definitely blue, and I've been needing to get to it for a while. So there you guys have it. That is my TBR for the month of August. The Final Strife, Grey Sister, Combat Codes, plus Marked Silver Nitrate. I don't think this is too bad of a TBR. Like, I feel like that's a pretty solid TBR, especially after the potential mess that we had from the board TBR Bluff. But we will get to clear it for next month in September, which is good because we have something very exciting, like I said, coming in the month of September. You guys will see that video on Sunday. It'll be premiering, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, leave me a book emoji if you just want to say that you were here. As always, links to my Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, and Goodreads are all in the description box down below. Please give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe if you wanna. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!